Hello, grade 10 St. Joseph, and welcome to week 2 of our online class for quarter 2 for Mathematics 10. So our topic for the week will be all about graphing polynomial functions. So this will be the last topic for polynomials, and then our topic for next week will be all about circles already. Okay. So for the learning objectives, at the end of the lesson, you must be able to illustrate polynomial functions and then graph polynomial functions and solve problems involving polynomial functions. Okay. So let's have the behavior of the graphs of a polynomial function. So we have here the theorem, which is about the upper bound and the lower bound theorem. So it states that let p of x be divided by x minus c and then considered the following. So number 1, when c is positive and then the resulting coefficients of the quotient and the remainder is also positive, then c is considered an upper bound of the zeros. And then next number, when c is negative and then the resulting coefficients in the quotient and the remainder form alternating signs, the c is considered as a lower bound of the zeros. Okay, so we have here the upper bound and then the lower bound. So when we say upper bound, we need to have positive coefficients for the answers when we divide the polynomial by a given value of c. And then for the lower bound, we need to have alternating signs for the values of the coefficients when we divide it by the value of the c. Okay, let's have example. So let's use synthetic division. So we will have, first one will be, let's try to solve for the upper bound. So when we say upper bound, those are positive values of the zeros. So we have here 1, which is positive. And then the values of the coefficients for this polynomial will be 1, and then 3, negative 5, negative 6, and then positive 6. So upon using synthetic division, we will have, bring down the first term, which is 1. 1 times 1 will be 1. And then add it. 3 plus 1 will be 4. 4 times 1 will be 4. Negative 5 plus 4, it will be negative 1. Negative 6 minus negative 6 plus negative 1, it will be negative 7. Okay, and then negative 7 multiplied by positive 1, you will have negative 7. So 6 plus negative 7, it will be negative 1. Okay. So since we have coefficients with different signs, so that's why it is not an upper bound for the zeros. So we need to have positive values for the coefficients. That's why it is not a value for the upper bound. Okay. For number 2, so upon using the synthetic division, we will have 1, 5, 5, 4, and 14 as the values of the leading coefficients or the coefficients. So since we have positive values for the coefficients, so that's why we will consider it as the upper bound for the values of the zeros. Okay. So according to the theorem, so in upper bound, we need to have positive values for the coefficients of the answer when we divide the polynomial by a given value of divisor. Okay. So that's why, since we have positive values for this one, it will be considered as the upper bound. Okay. So the smallest integral upper bound is 2, which means that there is no zero of the polynomial function that is greater than 2. Okay. So our zeros will be limited from 2, and then we just need to get the value for the lower bound. Okay. So in lower bound, we need to have alternating signs for the coefficients. Okay, so we have here number 1, 1, 2, negative 7, 1, 5 for the values of the coefficients after using the synthetic division. Okay, so since we do not have alternating signs for the coefficients, so that's why it is not considered as the lower bound. The next number, we have here negative 2 as the value of x. We have 1, 1, negative 7, 8, and then negative 10. So again, since we don't have alternating signs for the values of the coefficient, so that's why it is not an example of the lower bound. Next one, we have here negative 3. So we have here 1, 0, negative 5, 9, 21. Negative 21. Again, it is not considered as the lower bound because we don't have alternating signs. And then 1, negative 1, negative 1, negative 2, and then negative 14. So again, we don't have alternating signs for the value of the coefficient. So that's why we just need to have another one. We have here negative 5. So, okay. So in negative 5, we have here 1, negative 2, 5, negative 31, and then 161. So since we already have alternating signs for the coefficients, that's why we will have negative 5 as the value of the lower bound. So the biggest integral lower bound is negative 5, which means that there is no zero of the polynomial function that is less than negative 5. So the values of the zeros for this polynomial function will be from negative 5 up to positive 2. So that's the use of the upper bound and then the lower bound theorem. Okay, so let's have another topic for the behavior of the graph. So we have here about its behavior. Is it upward or is it increasing on the left side, decreasing on the right side? Okay, let's talk about those things. When the leading coefficient of an odd degree polynomial is greater than 0, the graph is decreasing on the left and then increasing on the right. So we have here odd degree polynomial with positive value for the coefficient or leading coefficient. The graph will be decreasing on the left side and then increasing on the right side. However, when the leading coefficient is an odd degree polynomial is less than 0 or negative number, the graph is increasing on the left and then decreasing on the right. So, negative coefficient, we have increasing on the left, decreasing on the right. And then for the even degree polynomials, we have here, when the leading coefficient of an even degree polynomial is greater than 0, which means positive, the graph is increasing on both left and right sides. So we have both increasing. So increasing on the left, increasing on the right side of the graph. Next one, when the leading coefficient of an even degree polynomial is less than 0 or negative number, the graph is decreasing on both left and right of the graph. So, if for even degree polynomial with positive value for the leading coefficient, it will be increasing on both sides. But when it comes to even degree polynomial with negative values for the coefficient, we have increasing on both sides. Okay, let's have examples and then let's determine if what will be the behavior of the graph. Number 1. 3x cubed minus 5x plus 7. So, since we have an odd degree polynomial and then the leading coefficient is positive, that's why the graph is expected to decrease on the left and then increase on the right. So, we will have di for the values of the behaviors. Decrease on the left, increase on the right. Next one, we have here 5x raised to 8 minus 7x raised to 4 plus 6. So we have here an even degree polynomial with positive value for the leading coefficient. So that's why, since we have positive value for the coefficient of an even degree polynomial, so that's why it will increase on both sides. So we have here I. And then, we have here negative 3x raised to 5. Since the leading coefficient is negative and the polynomial of 5th degree, then the graph is expected to increase on the left and then decrease on the right. So because we have odd degree polynomial with negative value, so we have ID. Okay. And then negative x raised to 8 minus 7x raised to 4 plus 6. So we have the leading coefficient is negative and the polynomial of an 8th degree, which means even number. So the graph is expected to decrease on both sides because we have negative 1 as the value of the coefficient. Okay, so that's all for this week, grade 10, and see you on my next video for the next topic for quarter 2, which is about circles.